What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Big Dave. Y'all know what it is. What up, doe? I got another banger for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute since I did anything. You know what I'm saying? So y'all pay attention. We got something real special for you today. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all like, share the channel. It helps the channel grow. You know what I'm saying? I want all the smoke. Bring it all. Give me the good comments, the bad comments, but make sure you comment, because we can get back at that and do a part 2, you dig? It's just a delay, not a denial. Now let's get into the show. What's love got to do with it? You dig? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know these stories I talk about is always real. That's why it's called Real Talk with Big Dave. I'm gonna give you that real authentic shit. I'm gonna give it to you real and raw. You dig? If it ain't raw, it ain't real. I'm gonna give it to you. See what I'm saying? Either I've been in the middle of it, or I've been actually doing it, or somebody I know been in it or doing it, or I got it from the news, but it ain't never fake. It's always real. Well, let's get into that show today. I have a special guest for y'all today, and I got a beautiful lady here to tell her story and talk about some things that she's been through in her life. Would you like to introduce yourself, young lady?
Okay. What up, though? From the D-Town to the Chi-Town, and to all the Real Talk listeners around the world. My name is Doris Ray, and I am happy to be here. And I thank Dave for giving me the opportunity to come and share my story with you. I am also the CEO of Women Helping Other Women Domestic Violence Prevention Organization, and a book coach of Ray of Life Books, LLC. I'm a born and raised Detroiter. And this is my book. Recently just came out this year in 2024. He loves me, he loved me not.
Hold the book up.
Oh, sorry.
Smile so they can see it. Perfect.
And the reason why I say the second word, spell the second word as LUVD, is because it's the Irma terminology for a lesser love of the relationship that I was in, the domestic violence relationship that I was in. Back to you, Dave.
Hey, okay. Well, y'all, you know, like I said, we got another banger, and it's an interesting show for you today. A young lady about to tell you about a story that was really horrific to her, and she wrote a book behind it to tell you about her life. And so I'm going to start off today by giving her the floor and letting us tell us what's going on with this book and why she wrote it. Take the floor, Doris.
Well, the book is the backstory to how it took me 7 years to get out, heal, and overcome being in a 7-year roller coaster ride of abuse ended in domestic violence, with me being set up, shot in the face with a shotgun through the windshield of my car while 3 of my children were sitting in the back seat, resulting in me losing my sight. It all began because I made a decision to be with someone I knew I shouldn't have been with, out of desperation, feeling abandoned, lonely, and feeling a fleshly desire of wanting to be married. Twisting the word of God of Proverbs 18:22, which says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing and will obtain favor with the Lord. But not she that goes out to find her a husband. She would not obtain favor with the Lord. And life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get until you bite off into it. Well, I picked a Tutti Frutti. They gave me 7 years of a rocky road that ended in a nooks and crannies because I made a decision to go out to find me a husband instead of him finding me. But I just can't tell you my story without taking you through the experience, because many people believe and still view domestic violence as being normal and that it cannot happen to them. But anytime it takes another human being to use violence and abuse to control another person, makes it not normal. So what's love got to do with it? Everything, when God is in it. Because he is love, and he loves everyone unconditionally. But with man, it has absolutely nothing to do with it, because we love who we want, and we put conditions on love. So what's love got to do with it? when the one that says that they love you would say in the same breath, if they can't have you or you leave them, that they will put you up in some woods where they will never find you. What's love got to do with it? When the one that says that they love you would cheat on you, lie on you, and then turn around and gaslight you to say that you was the one that brought them back that STD, it has nothing to do with it. What's love got to do with it? When the one that says that they love you also would say that they would never hurt you or your children, but would go behind your back and take the children away from you. Love has absolutely nothing to do with it. What's love got to do with it? When you are being abused and misused emotionally, mentally, sexually, spiritually, or financially, love has nothing to do with it. So you don't want to know how it feels to be loved by someone who will grab you by your hair and drag you down the stairs, then put your hair in the car door and take off at high speed, dragging you down the street as the concrete is taking your clothes and your skin off your body. You don't want to know how it feels to be loved by a man that would kick you and stomp you in your stomach to cause you to miscarry. You don't want to know how it feels to be loved by someone that would sleep with a knife under their pillow, reinforce some ropes in the basement to hang you, try to bash your head into a stove, or slash you across your face with a box cutter. And then you sitting across from a woman police officer telling her your story and she treating you like the criminal. You don't want to know how it feels to be that mother or father to hear or get that phone call that it's their son or daughter that just got shot or brutally murdered. You don't want to know how it feels to be that child or that loved one left behind that saw that person get brutally murdered. You don't want to know how it feels to be shot. Just imagine that sun, 100 degrees, 10 times great, singeing your body as that bullet ripping through it, cutting everything in its path. You don't want to know how it feels to be set up by the one that says that they love you, that would try and beat you, stab you, and then shoot you. But I'm going to take you to that night, to where that made that decision to put my children and myself in harm's way. I just got off of work to go pick up 3 of my children from my mother's house. And as I got to my block, I felt this eerie feeling go through me that something bad was going to happen. When I pulled up to my garage door and I lifted up, my heart fell into my stomach. But as I was walking back to get in the car, I looked at the street before me to see this car charging down at me, blocking me in. And when I jumped in the car to put it in reverse, the shooter was already there with that shotgun barrel staring me in my face. There was nothing I could do because I had 3 responsibilities sitting behind me. So bam, bam, 2 shots went through the windshield. The first one hit me and the second one ricocheted. Put your hands on your ears. Put your hands on your ears, because at that time, all I could hear was the ringing of that gun while that blood rolled down my face, covering everything in its path. Close your eyes, because I lost my eyes from that gunshot hitting me in my forehead. Broke some bones in my skull that cut my eyes right out of my head. That same blast that hit me in my face had broke some bones in my nose that stopped me from breathing. So put your left hand on your mouth and your right hand on your nose and hold it there till I tell you to hold it down. Take it down. Because that's what I had to do. And that's what happened to me. So take it down. And take your 2 fingers from your right hand and put your lips apart. because that blood that rolled down my face clotted over my lips where I couldn't breathe. That blast that hit me in my nose, my face, has stopped me from breathing in my nose. But the decision that we make just doesn't affect us, it affects everyone around us. My 8-year-old, she had to get out the car and find help for me as she ran from door for door, not knowing if the shooter was still out there. While I was leaning on the horn saying to the community, it's me, it's me. She was the one that see me get put up in an ambulance with my eyes hanging out of my clothes. She was the one that had to keep her little brother and sister, it was 3 and 4, together, being strong for them while I was in a hospital in a coma, not knowing how I was coming home or if I was coming home. But it's decisions that we make. Just doesn't put ourselves in harm's way, but everyone around us. So I have a question for you today. What is it going to take for you to believe that what happened to me can't happen to you? A slap to wake you up or a near-death experience to shake you up? For not taking that time to know my mate almost cost me and my children a deadly fate. But Dave, I am glad to be here today.
Man. Wow, that was horrific. Man, just listening to it made me cringe, you know. That had to be a horrible thing to have to go through, especially with your children, because he could have did something to your children also. Because today in the world that we live in, and I don't like to say it, but there's a lot of tender dick shit going around with these tender dick niggas. And I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Because if it comes to the point that someone that you are not communicating with and not getting along with anymore, trying to control them and beating them and taking control of them is not going to make them still want to be with you. And these guys are getting to the point today that they're jumping on these women. They're stalking these women. They're doing everything they have to. And I'm not just taking it and saying it about men, because there's women out here doing the same thing.
Right?
There's women out here doing the same thing. And I tell you guys, I'm looking right at this camera and I'm talking to guys, I'm talking to women. Y'all better hear me good. There's a lot of guys out here that's been in abusive relationships with women. That it starts off as a game, love taps, when they smack them on the face and smile. And they start pinching them on the chest and twisting their skin. Or punching them in the leg because it's a love tap. And we so macho, oh, that didn't hurt. What it does later is show us, by being macho, we teaching this person how to abuse us, and no one even understands it but them. But back to you. I have a question for you, Doris, because that was a horrific story I just heard, and I'm sorry that you had to bear that and suffer that in front of your children, and I'm glad that they're okay, and I'm glad that you're here today. When did you notice in that relationship that things was taking a turn for the worse? You say you was there for 7 years. How long did it take you to find out that it wasn't the best place for you?
The 5th year, when he persuaded me to move away from my family, all the ones that could, help me get out of the relationship.
Okay.
Because my sister never liked him. And she told me, whenever I felt like leaving, that she would be there to help me. So he had to move me away from my family and isolate me. So he thought from the people that can help me to get out.
Right.
When I started waking up. So the first day that we moved into our new house, he bossed up on me. And tried to put his hands on me then.
When he had you away from the area where you can get help?
Yes.
Okay.
But he didn't realize that I was a fighter. He didn't know that my father was abusive to my mother. And my mother taught me how to fight. And so when I showed him that I wasn't the one, I believed at that time, that's when he started plotting to get me out of there. Or just say to kill me. Wow.
So out of those 5 years, you didn't notice nothing in the first or second or third year did you see any red flags that kind of warned you that something was weird going on with this guy, or was it anything? And I'm not trying to apply that you did anything wrong based on the story I just heard, but was it anything on your end that you might have did that made him start to get jealous and enraged that he thought that he had to do what he did to you?
Well, actually, saying the second year when I got pregnant,
Okay.
that was like that was the third time I had left him. Because, you know, statistics say it takes 7 years for a person to get out of an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was that statistic. And the third time I left him, I had, you know, he got out the house, but he had left his clothes and everything. So I took his clothes and stuff to him in his pager at the time, because we had pagers during that time.
Yeah, I remember them days.
Yeah. And the one thing I did was I threw the pager at him. And when I threw the pager at him, well, actually, I was going to go tell him that I was pregnant. But it didn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to turn out. And we ended up having a WW wrestling match. Holyfield type fight. Mike Tyson type fight. And, but he knew then I was a fighter because I was fighting back.
Okay.
But when he stopped, he had told me it was a shotgun up under the stairs. And he told me if I didn't leave, he was going to shoot me with that shotgun.
You said if he told you if you tried to leave or
No,
if you
if I didn't leave.
Okay, if you didn't leave.
Yeah, he was going to shoot me.
So what the house was in his name or was in both of y'all name? He wanted you to leave the home or something?
No, he actually
Okay.
lost his house and moved in with me and my mom.
Okay.
And then, you know, he was cheating and stuff like that. I mean, after the first 2 weeks we were together, you know, he had cheated with the girlfriend that he was with. But I had it made up in my mind I was going to make him my husband. So I overlooked a lot of stuff. I was being blind to a lot of stuff. But at that time, when he told me that he was going to shoot me if I didn't leave, he didn't have that look in his eye like he really was going to do it.
You just didn't take it for granted. You took it for granted. You thought he was just talking.
Yeah.
So my thing to this, you said you was pregnant. Was it his baby or
Yes.
okay? So the next question, you said he started the plot. What was his mood swings that later when y'all was together? And you did also say that you was looking for love and you was looking for a husband. So did you think you forced yourself into this, not trying to grow with him and understand who you were dealing with, or you just took your chance because you felt you were in love with this guy?
But see, first of all, I'll put it out there. When they say be careful of what you will to yourself.
Okay.
The day that I met him, me and my baby sister, we was going out to get some hubcaps for her car. Because WJLB at the time the radio station at the time was giving out some cards and a discount for some hubcaps. So when we got there, before we got there, when we left the house, I told my baby sister that whoever we meet today, we're going to make our husbands.
And did you mean that, or y'all was just talking?
No, I meant that.
Okay.
And so when we had left and got to the auto parts store, you know, they were sitting out there giving out the cards and everything, and it was him and his friend. But when we got out the car, my sister had already chose his friend before I can make a choice. So I was left with him. But he was my type.
So it worked itself out.
Yeah.
It worked itself out.
Yeah. So I thought.
Okay. Let's speed through it a little bit. Y'all was together for 7 years, and then you said in the 5th year, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Okay. What signals was he giving you in that 5th year that you should have woke up and got the hell out of there? what signals was he giving you? What was he doing to you that led up to him actually trying to ambush you in front of your children and leave you for dead?
He was still cheating on me with other women and everything, and still lying to me, you know, and still manipulating me to be in the position where he wanted to be at home, seeing everything I'm doing, knowing where I'm at all times. And but yet at the same time having me going out, you know, working, making all the money and bringing it in to pay all the bills so he can have, you know, his studio and everything. And I was for, you know, him having his own business. But, you know, the bottom line was he was just using me.
So basically, he was working you.
Right.
You was taking care of him.
Yeah.
So it was like he was pimping.
Right.
And you was going to work, making sure he got that studio, and anything that you had to do to make sure he had that studio, you did it.
Right. Trying to be the good thing.
So basically, he turned into a dominator, a narcissist, and a person that was going to control the situation because he could.
Right. Because I allowed him to.
Well, I like that you said you allow, because a lot of things with us, we allow a lot of people to do things. I've been in them kind of situations where I allow people to do things to me until it started to get out of hand, until I had to fight back. And then, you know, as a big guy, the first thing that happens when the police get called, you know what they're going to do to me.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you have to learn not to put yourself in those situations. But it's easy to say until you go through it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say allow, you cannot allow no one to dominate you, treat you like any kind of way. Because number one, if he had to move with you and your mother, and I don't judge nobody because they might not have something and because they struggle a little bit, but when I see guys that have to always move with women, like I said, them some tender dick niggas to me, because I don't want to live with no woman. I want to get my own. I got my own.
And that's how it should be.
You know, I think every man should have his own, even if he finds somebody that he wants to be with, and maybe they come together, if she come here, he go there, whatever, they decide to get their own together.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the fact that they move in with the woman. And you know, I just think that ain't cool. And I just think when you allow somebody to dominate you like that, you set yourself up for failure.
Right.
And I'm not into setting myself up for failure. I have been there. I have set myself up for failure plenty of times. And then when it's over, you looking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But I never been through what you've been through. And you sitting right here in my face right now. You sitting here telling me what you went through. And I mean, to go through what you went through, I can't never imagine that. Now, I have my own hiccups. I done been shot several times. I done been stabbed. And later my story will come. But today is about your story. And now that you've moved past that day and you made it through that tragedy, this book, what made you get into the book? What made you tell your story? What made you become an author and a book coach?
Well, actually, my 6th grade teacher, she told me that she saw me writing books. English teacher and creative writing teacher, and she was trying to get me into being creative writing and everything, and I was like, nah, my purpose for me was to be a nurse, so I couldn't see myself writing books and things like that, and I couldn't stand English. But she saw my future. She had a glimpse of my future, and this wasn't actually the first book I wrote. I started writing this in 2009, but actually I wrote another book in 2014 that came out before this book.
Okay.
And, you know, and I was praying about it and asking God, when is this book gonna come out?
Mm-hmm.
And he said last year, 2023, he said, this is the year that you're gonna start getting it together and it's gonna come out.
Okay.
Because he had a purpose for me, you know, to help men and women in domestic violence.
Okay.
So in 2009, I came up with the title "He Loves Me, He Loves Me Not," because that's how I was. He loved me when we had sex, but he didn't love me when he was cheating on me. He loved me when we had sex, but he didn't love me when he brought me back those STDs. He loved me when we had sex, but he didn't love me when he set me up to be shot. All because of the love of money.
The question I didn't ask you while we starting to get to the end of this show here, was he the shooter or he had someone else be the shooter?
Nah, he had me set up.
So he had you set up,
Right.
ambushed.
Right. We was going through a custody battle. And during the custody battle, he wasn't, I had a conjunction PPO.
Okay.
So he wasn't supposed to come get the kids. It was supposed to third party supposed to get the kids.
Exactly.
Right. Well, they had to have proper insurance and all that stuff. So the first person that he sent to my house, I knew they didn't have proper insurance, and I was getting in trouble with the courts. So I told him they can, take the kids with them. And so he came back with my brother-in-law, which also is another story. He helped my brother-in-law, helped him with the case and, get things against me and stuff by taking pictures of the house and all that stuff. So anyway, this particular day after court, he was supposed to get the kids, but he was told that he couldn't get them. So because the first guy didn't get them, he came back with my brother-in-law, and I knew my brother-in-law's insurance was expired because
Right.
it came to my house. So I went to the car to ask my brother-in-law about his insurance to see if he had, proper insurance. So he was showing it to me while he was putting the kids in the car. Then he came around to the car, slammed the door to snatch the insurance papers out of my hand. But instead of him snatching, I didn't let go of the insurance papers, and he grabbed me. I had this rope around my neck with my ID. He grabbed that and choked me, and we was fighting, and he assaulted me. So I went to to make a report, and because he lived in another city, Detroit couldn't go to that city to arrest him. So he had to be arrested at our next court date. And when he got arrested at the next court date, they put him in jail. So he had to bring $1,000 for the court case, $1,000 for the friend of court, and he was owing his lawyer $20,000. So with all that, it was like his back was up against the wall, because if he didn't bring the money, he was going back to jail. So his friends, from what it was told to me, his friends had made a phone call thinking that they was talking to him, but they was talking to my brother-in-law, and they told my brother-in-law, thinking they was talking to him, that they'd get rid of me for $1,000. And so that's how it ended up me getting set up and ambushed and shot in the face.
Well, damn, man.
To
Sorry that had to
overcome,
happen.
heal, and get delivered from being in domestic violence situations. I do presentations. I do workshops. I do speaking engagements and book signings. And I'm also a book coach. So if you have a book or an idea that you'd like to put together and you need some help, I'm the one to call. I'm that girl. I can be contacted by email at whow2llc@gmail.com, or call me at 313-523-3122. You can get the book on Amazon and Kindle. And thank you for having me, Dave.
You're welcome. It was nice to have you on the show. Well, people, like I said, I always come with that real talk. You dig? I always got something special for you. I'm coming at you. I'm coming. The ones that know me, you know how I'm coming. The ones that don't, you'll find out soon. You can get with me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Real Talk. That's one whole word, WIT. Big Dave, Facebook, Big Dave Crawford, you dig? Well, always end the show with a special quote. And before that special quote, y'all make sure y'all subscribe, like, share that channel, and make sure you comment, because it only helps the channel grow. Please do that, because I want all the smoke. I got many more to come. Well, the special quote today is, God is good all the time, even when you don't think it is. As long as you wake up every day, you have a chance to get better, and that's real talk.